Struggle.
So we are gonna talk about what today? We're gonna talk about worlds and
World.
education.
Yes.
It's one of our favorite topic, right? World first.
So we're gonna start first.
Shall we start from?
Shall I start first?
Sure.
Go on.
Okay, then we can start.
So my article news about one death by typhoon takes aim at Japan. I take this article from CNN News. So the typhoon caused a surge wave that hits the breakwater and a lighthouse as the typhoon approached a part of the town. The town name is Kiho, Japan, on 12 October. So more than 1.6 million people had to evacuate to a safe place. But unfortunately, a 49 years old man found dead at the top of mini truck.
Oh my god, that's so.
Moreover, a storm that caused by this typhoon
It's very tragic.
has already forced the cancellation of Rugby World Cup 2 match
Rugby World Cup.
and disrupt the Suzuki Grand Prix and grounded the more than 1,600 flights in Japan.
It's horrible what's going on over there.
Yeah.
Well, basically, the country like China, like Korea, like Japan,
Thailand.
always being crashed like
Yeah,
kind of
tragic
Things
disaster,
are
right?
kind of
Nature
common now.
disasters.
But I think this is one of the worst we've seen so far, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah, should be lucky when we
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
in
Malaysia.
I love Malaysia. So, okay, next. Shall I? Okay, my news for this section is about. I take this from BBC World. It's about this news from Africa, it's Zambia. So the news is about Zambia court punishes a student over cannabis biscuit, cake-based cannabis, which means the students of an university there make a cake which contain cannabis, kind of drug.
Oh,
Cannabis. But what is fun? What is funny about this news is the court punished the student by writing apologize essay.
Oh.
Yes. So like initially the student is from Keppelbelt University named Chikwanda Chinsedere. 21 year students of civil engineering. So we know that maybe like the African country have conflict like poverty, maybe they need money but like I said, this is not a proper way for a student to find a way to enjoy their life. And Drug Enforcement Commission of Zambia, maybe they use this way because this kind of report may be news, maybe a new report to them. But however, in Malaysia, it's already occurred, right? Like the news about people making snake cracker based on heroin and cannabis as well. So maybe from us from Malaysia, we think this kind of news is quite funny, but however for their country, it may be a
Serious matter.
news, maybe a new and a good awareness to spread awareness among their society. So anyone has other news?
Coincidentally, my article is same as Dao's, but I have a different point here. It's about typhoon at Japan. May bring 30 inches of rain, strong winds in Tokyo. This powerful typhoon is forecast to bring up about 30 inches, mean 80 centimeter of rain and damaging wind to Tokyo and Japan's Pacific. And the meteorologicals also say the typhoon resemble a typhoon that hit the Tokyo in 1958 with heavy rain, and 500,000 houses was flooded, and more than 1,200 people died in that storm. And it was very terrible at that time. And now the typhoon resemble the typhoon a long time ago. And the typhoon also can cause power outage and damage the infrastructure, significantly affects people's life.
Yes, for sure.
And also, as Daus mentioned earlier, the storm is expected to disrupt sports, two rugby match, and holiday event, and also Formula 1 auto race was also postponed. And lastly, let's just pray for their safety, since they do have family like us. So next.
My article is kind of different. It's talking about how our efforts can affect the world. So right now, climate change is a very relevant topic because it affects us. I think everyone notices how it's been getting hotter here in Malaysia, and not only in Malaysia, it's been happening all around the world. So this article I found is from The Star, and it warns people about how climate change should not be taken lightly. And the article talks about how Malaysia is doing our part to combat this climate change by installing more and more solar panels as our new renewable energy source. Because currently, most of our energy comes from coals and petroleum, and we're trying to cut that down because it's not renewable. It's releasing carbon emission to our atmosphere, and basically it's kind of it's causing us to climate change. So basically this article talks about how our Prime Minister is planting more and more renewable energy, and we should include make private business sectors invest in more renewable energy. So
That's true.
So instead of using non-renewable energy, we should be using renewable energy for example our cars. So instead of using petroleum, we should use electricity. So my article.
The article is good. Mine is about East London stabbing. Boy 15 arrested on suspicion of murder. I got this article from the Guardian.com website, and it was published on 11th of October 2019. It was yesterday. And in this article, it mentioned a 15-year-old boy has been arrested on suspicion of stabbing a schoolboy to death outside a shopping complex in broad daylight. This what Metropolitan Police have said. The boy, who police named on Friday as Baptista Ajay, and he's from Northwich, was attached on or after getting off a bus which had stopped nearby of the shopping complex. And what's even more surprising is after 5 hours later, officers were called to the Brandon estate in Camberwell, South London, where they found another 18-year-old man with stab wounds who died an hour later after that. So what I want to mention here is news about murderer is everywhere, right? Even if it happened in our country too. So we can look that the victim can be everyone and whoever you are, right? So if we put this article in our news, we can open up the word ice, that we should to be more careful every day, every day and everywhere. So that's my article is. That's shaking.
Your article is interesting, but for me, I will talk about a wildfire that catch in Los Angeles, California. So actually, the wildfire is like a general thing that will happen in Los Angeles. Okay, so first thing is actually in the middle of the night, where the locals they're forced to evacuate from their house, because suddenly there are big fire from the foothill and canyon along the northern edges of LA on Friday. So basically the locals just get shocked because suddenly it's on fire, right? So, and then there are the Pacific Gas and Electron.co also need to switch off the power nearly 800,000 homes and business, because to prevent its transmission line from sparking wildfire under the gas steam lines, because if they did not close it, maybe there will be more big fire, right? So, and then it was the second time in less than 4 years that happened in Los Angeles actually. So actually there has ended two of its worst wildfire seasons in its recorded history in the past 2 years. So this is the second, but also the worst. So I took this article from the Star Online.
Your
That's
article
all.
is interesting. And mine, I'm gonna talk about article about inconvenience stores help Thailand turn green amid plastic crisis. It may sound funny because they're saying convenience store, because normally we call it convenience store, but what they're trying to say is because it happened in Bangkok, where the eco-conscious bulk store refill station in Thai capital Bangkok encourages customers to reduce plastic use and adopt a more environmental friendly lifestyle. So basically they are trying to cultivate a society where they actually uses eco-friendly things rather than using plastics in their daily life. And I took this article from channelnewsasia.com, and so this article is about this using eco-friendly items. So what happened is there's this guy who actually his name is Papawi. He's a Thailand guy. Okay, he's actually he has the mindset where he wants to make convenience store less convenient. So he actually made some kind of rule where actually in that shop it's called a bulk store. A bulk store means it's like an emerging type of eco-conscious retailer, and this idea was brought 2 years ago in Thailand, but actually this is already been implemented in other countries, but I'm not sure very much in our country, but maybe in some like overseas they have been bringing this idea. A bulk store is basically they sell things, but what we have to do is like we cannot bring use plastic, or we cannot bring plastic. We have to bring like something like a paper bag, or if ever you don't have one, you have to borrow it from the shop, and then you have to take it back, and then and when you come next time you have to give it back to them again. It's something like you take it and give it back to them. So they basically want to cultivate the people to actually bring their own containers, and actually even paper bags. Container means like if you are buying vegetables, for example, you can keep it in a paper bag, or like containers like fruits or whatever, you keep in a container. So that's what they're trying to say. And because the thing is, they in this article there's a mention about statistics where each day the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration collects an estimate 10,000 tons of waste, including 80 million plastic bags. Its data show an average Bangkok resident uses 8 plastic bags per day and often throws them away after a single use. So the longevity of plastic products, whose original form can last 400 years, results in most of them going to landfills. So the process caught authorities about Thailand but 700 per ton of plastic waste. So it equals to 23 US dollars. So what the government is trying to ask the people there is try to use less plastic, which is actually should be implemented in Malaysia, in my opinion, because there's like I believe in Selangor there's no more plastic use, and wherever we go we have to actually bring our own bag, but it's just implemented in Selangor. But I'm hoping that soon in every state in Malaysia, not only on Saturdays but every single day they bring these things, so that like our country can become eco-friendly. So that's my topic about.
It's a very good topic.
Yeah.
What I want to voice out is, I found an article online, which is the Star Online, the famous one, and it's about how AI, robots, and human can work together for a better world. So actually, when I read that article, I was quite surprised because it was actually a debate between an AI robot called Sophia and of course our Minister of Sports, who is Syed Saddiq. So first of all, Syed Saddiq asked that AI robot Sophia how AI robots can help human for a better world, and her answer was AI robots can provide opinions and better strategies, for example like climate change, like what all of your articles, right? Yeah, so that's what AI robots, that is what Sophia told to our Minister of Sports. Yeah. So I feel that this article is quite important because as you all know, computer is the future, AI is the future, as you guys know. So you can give me your opinions about this.
But I think that opinions from AI may be slightly biased. It depends on the creator. They can't alter their information from the AI, so it could be slightly biased. So I don't think that we can rely strictly on
every
AI.
day it's like there's changing opinions about AI, so it's we're not permanent about idea of AI. Maybe it could be in the future, like maybe after 10 years perhaps.
So whose article are we choosing? I like Nitya's article about
because I think
me too.
it's like it's
Eco-friendly.
one of the
About waste.
important topics
Yeah,
right
I
now
think
about like
waste is-
saving our country,
Yeah.
our not only country, our world, especially going for a green world.
So I think that's a really good topic to put in our newspaper.
So another one.
So what do you guys think? Another one.
I'm thinking about this Wawa's article because it's like that's one how to say is very important that because they lost a lot of lives in Japan, and we really have to pray for them. So for not for the victims and also for their families.
I might think everyone is interested to know since me and Daos choose the article,
choose the
so
same
I
topic.
hope everyone is
Satisfied.
Okay with it. So we will go with my article and Wawa's article. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.